Comedy Jonah. Hi.
We're back.
We're back, bitches. Ha 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 ha. Welcome, everyone, to our post-season Big Brother 24 shows. Are you so excited, John?
I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm so excited to talk to Brittany.
I am so excited to talk to Brittany as well. Let me remind everybody before we get to that, make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe wherever you guys are watching. Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of those places. You guys following are a great way to help support the show, as is sharing it, because sharing is caring. Tell a friend, tell a family member, put it in a Facebook group. It's the best way for you to get alerted on all of these postseason shows, as well as our future shows that we are going to be starting next week. Comedy Joan, I'm so excited, talking Bravo, Netflix, podcasting, and all those such fun things. So make sure you guys are following.
Everybody thinks we just talk about Big Brother, but no,
No.
there's other things out there too.
There's other things. You can tweet us right now your questions for Brittany using hashtag YRLive if you are on Twitter. And of course, you can check out the past 10 years. It's 12 years. I don't know why I keep saying
12
10.
years, yeah.
It's been 12. 10. You should check those out over on the website.
Long time.
Long time. You guys, check those out. Now, without further ado, we need to introduce the lady that you all are here to see. It's Brittany, bitch. Brittany!
Am I framed good? Am I good?
Are you framed good, Brittany? Yay!
Can you see me okay? Okay.
We see you so good. Okay, Brittany, what was up with that? Can we start there?
Please. Why didn't someone in PR tell me that I was so close to the camera compared to everyone else?
Yeah. What was that?
They did me dirty, guys. They did me dirty.
They did, and then it just became the joke of the season.
I know. I get back out in the real world. They're like, yeah, why were you so close to camera? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I watch it. I'm like, oh, great. I was crazy from the start.
I love that you started off that way. That is hilarious. Like, I almost tinkled a little bit, Brittany.
I mean, you have to know. You are a super fan of this show. You know how they typecast. It had to have been very clear to you, like, I'm the hypnotist.
Are you kidding me? Yes, Eric. Like, I knew for sure. I'm like, okay, I'm not the supermodel coming in this place. I'm not this. I'm not that. I definitely knew I'd be the quirky hypnotist one. So in a way, it was kind of fun to even just start out that way. Everyone knew from the get-go. So
I was always waiting for you because it was like hypnotist. I mean, we all said in preseason, we were like, oh, we see Brittany. You know, she's going to be in that Nicole role. I was just waiting for you to be like with your lipstick. What are you guys doing? I'm just putting on lipstick.
I'm not going on the block.
I'm not going on the block, am I, today?
Oh, I don't have it right here, but you know, hypnotists have that like dangly thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's such a misconception, just, you know, as far as hypnosis goes. It's like an olden day thing. It's meant to tire out the eyes. We do it a different way now, right? Well, you know, during casting and stuff like that, you know, they're like, oh, we need a picture of you that looks like a hypnotist. Do you have one of those things? I'm like, no, I don't have one of those things. That's not what we use as hypnotherapists. So I ran out and bought one so I could take a picture, you know. So, you know, it's just kind of funny now. Now I have one, but that's only because of Big Brother.
It's so, I don't think they realize how much stuff that you have to do. Maybe you shouldn't say, I'm allowed to now because my contract's over. How they make you like do all the poses before, like we for All Stars, we had to take all those pictures. Like I had to take all the pictures. You had to do like 200 pictures in every stupid pose. It's crazy. But fun fact, Brittany, for those of you that don't know, like she said, they don't use the that thing anymore to tire the eyes and like wear people down. Now they just have you have a conversation with Daniel.
No comment.
Be over here. I'll be over here. That's enough. Good night, everyone. Okay. No, so, yeah, you know, we all watched preseason. We were like, oh, we know what role Brittany is clearly going to be put into this season. How did your strategy, we got this question from Instagram from It's There F, says, how did your preseason strategy change once you made it in the house?
I mean, premiere night, right? We have the backstage twist. I am literally, okay, so the backstage twist, Pooch, he gets picked, backstage boss. His rationale, so he says, is that he's going to pick the people who got out first, in the 3 different little mini comps that we did. Paloma got out first. Alyssa got out first. Me, it wasn't so hard. The piercing tent, comp.
Yeah.
How do you even determine who did the worst or got out first? It was kind of all at the same time. And now that I'm watching back the footage, I was pretty close to getting there. I mean, Turner ended up actually winning. He said that he just remembered that I said I was a competitive belly dancer, and that's why I got picked. I'm also thinking, as I was standing there, I was like, and I know that this is probably not the way to do it, but I was making full on eye contact with him because I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just like send him a lot of love and make eye contact with him as he's picking, and he'll just be like, oh, this girl's actually really nice. No, that did not work out well at all. He picked me for backstage.
Did you try to hypnotize him a little bit?
I'm trying to just send positive energy. I'm trying to do.
Right.
I don't know. I should have just been like, look away, but I get picked, right? And so I get picked, and then it's like, I mean, you guys know what's the strategy you're supposed to have from the beginning? Lay low, don't play too hard. Like that was the strategy. At least I was going to come into the game, but having this backstage twist from the beginning. It changed everything. It changed absolutely everything. We had no idea that it had anything to do with an America's Vote. I thought for sure, well, I just got to cover my bases. Daniel's HOH, so I need to see what can I offer him. Pooch is backstage boss. Maybe he'll have something to do with it. And obviously it got real messy real quick, given that, we just had to play hard. Plus, you're looking at Paloma, you're looking at Lissa. They're these cute, single, in their 20s, beauty girls. I was like, I am so fucked. Sorry, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, you can fuck all you want. Fuckity fuck.
I mean, for the exact reasons that it feels like perhaps America voted me to stay was the exact reasons why I felt so on the outskirts within the house, knowing that like I for sure was going if they had anything to do with it. So, it's funny to watch back that time and the decisions I would have made. The strategy I came in with the house just went the moment I got picked as backstage, and having to sort of navigate that and play. I remember being in the DR and being like, oh my God, I'm playing so hard. Why am I playing so hard? This is awful. I know I shouldn't be doing this. Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this.
What we were saying, yes.
Well,
right?
It must have been good, though, to find out that you would have been saved by America had Paloma not been, had her issues.
I literally found that out sitting in the hotel after finale night talking with my husband. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, you were saved. I mean, it's just, I'm telling you right now, the vibe inside that house, it was almost, especially by the second half of the first week, it was just so ostracizing. It was almost like people just wouldn't even talk with you. Like they'd already counted you gone. They're on to next week, and that's just an awful feeling when this is your lifelong dream to be here, that you're like, man, they've already moved on to next week because it's so sure that I'm gone, and that was just, that was hard. That was hard.
One of the things that was so hard for me watching the edit, and I want to talk about the things that I think, the questions that we're getting from so many people, and this was one of the things that frustrated me to no end, is I feel like we never got any resolution to how you were feeling towards Michael. Like, I was in the same boat as you, when after that double eviction, when you were so upset, I was like, Brittany, you're being ridiculous. He was trying to help you. Oh, yeah. All of the people here are going to tell you he's... And then...
And I was like, I don't see it that way, but okay, maybe because you're watching the feeds and stuff, Eric. But I'm like, what I saw, no, it was horrible. And I would have been in tears.
Well, did you, so for starters, did you and Michael get a chance to talk in jury or not really?
Well, okay. So since I was Final Four, I don't technically go to jury house. So
Right. I
yeah,
guess
so
I mean before roundtable.
yeah, before roundtable, no. So obviously I'm feeling all the feels, right? I had like that 2 weeks to kind of, it felt like a grieving process, honestly. Like Alyssa, Taylor to some extent can tell you in the house, like it was really tough kind of going through this, like being super angry, then also understanding. By the time I left my goodbye message to Michael, I like got that. I was like, oh, he's trying to warn me. Like, thank you. I know when I won that Snooze Fest veto, I don't think they showed this, but I was like, this one's for you, Michael. Like I knew, like I knew that I knew he had my back. And I know that this is a game, and I know he played the game just so impeccable. I mean, that's why it was just so, as a super fan, it was just fun to get to play with him. And I knew I I knew that he was trying. I knew that our friendship was real, and I knew that like he would do anything that he could to try to help me. So eh, no, we did not get to talk before roundtable. He gives me a hug at roundtable when I come back, and he's like, "Of course, I'm so sorry." He also, I thought this was pretty funny. He warned me. They don't show this at the roundtable, but he hugs me right when I come out. And he's like, Jasmine and Indy are going to be icy towards you. He whispers that in my ear. So he gives me a little bit of a heads up that, and they didn't show, they roasted me, Jasmine and Indy. Love them to death. They roasted me for like 15 minutes straight. I heard that this was not included, but like to the point where it got awkward how much they were just roasting. Like Dr. Will was like, oh, like this is like embarrassing for them almost that they're roasting me so hard. But no, we actually had this whole big segment in the round table that I don't think got showed of like Michael apologizing and sharing that he was like super upset that that he realized that he crossed a line when he said that everything about me was a lie, including my career, all those things, that he immediately regretted it as soon as it came out of his mouth, and that he was really sorry. And up to that point, I was kind of like, oh man, I just want to hear him out. Like, I just want to hear what he has to say. But after hearing all that, I was like, hey, I get it. Like, I absolutely understand.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Will was like, do you guys want to hug? And so we got up and we hugged each other, we sat back down. But I hear that none of this made it into onto the show.
No, and I don't understand why. I swear, with all due respect to production, I don't understand the storylines that they focus on. Apparently, we needed to watch Turner having a temper tantrum over that moment. Like, I don't get it. And exactly what you said, it was such a big deal. It was, this is for you, Michael. And then you'll see on the edit, like, Turner rolling his eyes, which made the show. But then it was such a big discussion on the feeds of how you wanted Michael to see that in jury. So then when we finally get the jury scene, okay, we're going to get to see how Michael reacts to this. Oh, you're not going to show Mike.
Not going to show
I'm
it.
glad that we, okay.
I was
and then we don't
I recognized that before I got to leave my goodbye message to Michael.
Yes.
And that I told him, like, hey, I understand, like, I get it. And like, he said that, he was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I thought you were going to be shredding our friendship bracelets. Like he thought I was like super mad, but I was like, no, I understand it. It was a warning, and yeah, it is what it is. So I get it.
Everyone's in the YouTube chat saying, what do you mean by roast when Indy was roasting you? Like what were they roasting you about?
I mean, I feel like it's the same thing. I don't know how much they show for everybody else, but everyone else, after they came up to me, they're like, you handled it so well. Like they're just, I think they're just, we're angry that they didn't know about leftovers. Angry how each of us individually sort of handled it. I mean, I always knew, and Michael would vouch for me a ton when we be in the group, talking leftovers. Like I always knew that out of a lot of the leftovers, I take a lot of the heat jury management wise for the decisions that we made as the leftovers, because we always just knew that the girls would hold any sort of what's the word? Any sort of lying that I would do or anything, they'd hold it against me so much more than they'd hold it against
Right.
a Monty or a Joseph or even a Michael, that it was just like they would feel like, oh, okay, if they did it, it's game. But if I do it, it's like, you weren't there for us. And it's like, girls, we literally have not had an alliance chat with girls, anything beyond saying a girl needs to win HOH. Like that was like the running joke that would be like whenever I was with them, they'd be like, oh, a girl needs to win HOH. I'm like, this is not an alliance chat. This is just a sentence that we keep repeating to each other. Like, it was, still kind of baffling to me that they thought that there was anything there, but
Right.
oh, God forbid if they find out I'm actually playing the game and in a real alliance, so they'd be so hurt. But I think Michael got a shoe thrown at him by Indy when he came into the house. I think Alyssa got super roasted when she came into the jury house of being like, she was the one who kind of leaked information that started the leftovers. So everyone got their due turn, including myself.
So there were rumors that, because, Terrence and Michael were in the double eviction, that there was a fight between them. And there was rumors that Terrence had left the game.
Oh, I want to ask this in the patron after show, but go ahead. We'll ask it now too.
Can you tell us anything, or it just isn't true at all?
I'm not aware of anything like that. That seems
okay.
If I was a betting woman, I would say nothing like that happened. I haven't heard anything like that. So.
Well, here's what I would say. You are correct. The Indy and Jasmine roasting didn't really make the edit. But if we had to imagine, I would probably imagine it went something like Jasmine being like, I'm better than a porcupine going uphill that I wasn't in the leftovers because I love me some leftovers. And Brittany, you're a flea. And I don't like fleas in my leftovers, Brittany. And I think it's very bad.
Surprisingly didn't sound like that, but could have. It's funny. I don't know. I think it was, I don't know. I'm not going to say this.
Save it for the patron show.
Yeah, I'll save it. How about
Did she threaten to throw hot soup in your face? Indy, I mean.
Oh God, nothing that bad. Nothing that bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really understand. I want to love Jasmine because I think Jasmine was clearly one of the mean girls in the beginning of the show. And then once she got separated from them and was alone with you guys in, Brochella, I feel like we got to see a different side of Jasmine that I really liked. That side of Jasmine that we saw.
I always said that. I was like, Big Brochella Jasmine? Where was that? Where was that? And it almost made it hard that week because it's like, okay, I know she needs to go. I know we're fulfilling the leftovers mission, but like, it's like, oh man, like, where was that Jasmine throughout, And that was, I mean, one of the things way back in the early days, I know Jasmine was a big proponent of not wanting Taylor to be in Girls. And I remember kind of having this moment being like, okay, so I'm in this Girls Alliance that is not including two of the women. Interesting. Should have been my first red flag, right? And then, but thinking, okay, well, you guys don't have to go be friends and talk with Taylor, but that's not stopping me. I know I literally have nothing to offer her right now because of this backstage thing. I can't save her. I can't play in comps. I can't do all these things. But that literally was one of my reasons. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go strike up a conversation with Taylor, get to know her, because just because you guys don't want to doesn't mean I don't have to.
Right. It's just we saw a lot of it. I want to say,
and I think we saw big Coachella Jasmine because she didn't have anybody with her, right? I think she kind of knew her spot and was just being a little piece of humble pie, right? Am I doing this right?
That's not how you do it. You gotta be something more than something else that doesn't make sense. So you gotta be like wetter than a dry towel on top of the toaster in the morning when you're having orange juice.
Oh, okay, that makes total sense.
Like that. That's how Jasmine does it, and I'm here for it. I love it. I want to talk another question that we got so many ways. Another thing that was just so frustrating, and to your credit, your favorite player, Nicole Anthony, is another person who I've only really seen fight so hard, almost never ending, nonstop, to it just falling on deaf ears, like all of the most logical, sensical things just fall to nothing. You fought so hard that last week in your house. The only critique that I think a lot of us had, myself included, so I kind of want to know more what your thought process was. I'm going to take it from Courtney. She says, as a last-ditch effort to get Turner to keep Alyssa, why did you not just outright tell him, I'm going to vote to keep Alyssa?
I saw that. Here's the thing with Turner. I knew he really didn't like me. I knew that anything I'd say to him, he'd run upstairs to mommy and daddy and tell, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew that, okay, if I go and tell him that I'm going to flip, he's going to be like, fire. And then he'd go right upstairs and go tell them and try to blow it up at any given moment. So it was so hard because I knew that there wasn't I think at one point I gave it like a 20% chance the plan would go through. Like I really was pretty certain that even me flipping, that Turner wasn't going to do anything. I also knew that anything he's ever said to me was usually a lie in the game. So the fact that he was telling me that he was going to vote Alyssa out, and he was telling Alyssa, who he was really close friends with, that she was 100% okay, I was like, okay, he usually lies to me. Maybe he's telling Alyssa the truth. Like, this might go through. I at least got to throw the vote. What do I have to lose? Everyone's already targeting me. You can't be targeting me anymore. Like, then you're already targeting me. I have nothing to lose here, right? Mm-hmm. And so if I would have just gone to him, I knew that I had to be as subtle as possible, which even the conversation I had with him, it crossed the line of, being subtle as it even were. But it was one conversation where I felt like I was mentioning kind of both angles. And I say, hey, if you're feeling bad about it, have you considered giving her a sympathy vote? Like, you are right. Like, you don't have to do Monty's bidding. Like, you could give her a sympathy vote since she is your friend, and all he has to do is break the tie. Like, had you considered that? He's like, oh, I'll consider it. Obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think he's considering it now.
He should be.
Joe Away in the YouTube chat says, how long and how many times did you apply for the show before getting on?
Oh my gosh, so many times, probably 6 or 7 times.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a super fan. I've been trying forever. Made it to semifinals once, but yeah, other than that, this was the first time. And it's so funny because, usually I would like edit these videos that I'd submit and all this stuff. This was the first year that I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to sit in front of a camera and just talk for 3 minutes. And literally it's the background you're looking at right now, like super boring, just talking about myself. And of course that's the one, that makes it. But I've been trying a lot. So this just happened to be the year.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not at all done over this whole Turner thing. So you and Turner in the bathroom, probably one of my favorite moments.
Probably your favorite moment, because it was the worst moment for me ever.
I think I would be the same exact way. I think I like to talk a big game, but but then again, with all due respect to Turner, he's, a kid. So I think I would have handled it the way kind of you handled it with, thank you for your time.
Can I give you some backstory of what was happening here? So, yes. Okay, so the vote is a tie. Monty, right. He has to get blood on his hands. Like, okay, good. You had to say it out loud. Get him, Melissa, mad at you. Great. Then I'm kind of like, okay, where do I move from here? I'm like, well, obviously I have to deny. It's just Turner's word against mine. Maybe that will plant some sort of doubt in Taylor and or Monty's mind about Turner, and maybe that just gives me something to work with because I have nothing to work with right now, right? I feel Turner like following me into the bathroom. So I'm like, oh shit. And I just go into the bathroom stall. I don't even have to go to the bathroom. I'm just like biding time. I'm like, what do I say? He's following me. I think I flushed the toilet just to make it sound like I was going to the bathroom. Like I literally was like, okay, what do I do? I come out and I just knew that I couldn't say anything to him. Like I just couldn't give him anything because I knew he would just run back upstairs and he would tell everybody what I was saying. So I can't give him anything solid. And that was literally me just being like freaking out my mind. My brain was kind of like fritzing. Also wanting to be like, hey, I know I did the same thing. I just voted out my best friend, but I'm not the one calling people slimy for it. Like, there's so many
Right.
things I would have loved to have said to him. Like, it is a game. Like, and just the fact, just the, how do you say it, hypocrisy, or like, it just felt like so hypocritical for him to be just so butthurt over what I did when he was doing the exact same thing. I'll own up. I was doing it too. I'm just not calling people slimy about it. Like, have some self-awareness.
Oh, totally.
I was with you there. That is what drove me crazy about Turner. I am like, literally, you sold out Joseph to keep Kyle and Delissa together, as if you're going to Final Two with them. And now you're selling Alyssa out to keep Monty and Taylor together, as if they're bringing you anywhere. Like, his game made zero sense to me. I kept saying to John, like, it only makes sense if it's like, I'm 23, it's almost $1 million, I can make that on my own, what do I need it for? Whatever, fire. And I'm just like, you're gonna be 40 one day like us and go, I really wish I had that money, I need insurance.
I know. And it's just like, it's really, I don't know, it's just tough because granted, I would have loved for Alyssa and I have gone to Turner and be like, hey, we're going to do this, flip on us. But you just could sense it.
Yeah.
You just could sense where his loyalties at that point in time lie. And it was like, no, he cannot know because he'll blow this up for us. And then that would just, if I had any chance of like plausible deniability, like I needed to kind of hold on to that because I knew I'd be there the next week and I need to, try to see if I could plant any sort of doubt. But yeah, it was kind of funny. Thank God, both Turner and I mean, not thank God for you guys, because I'm sure you would have loved to have seen it, but thank God for me and Turner that we both are pretty non-confrontational type people. Yeah. And so I could kind of bank on that if I was just like, thanks for your comments, and that he wouldn't try to like, there's so many opportunities for him and I and the rest of the house to like go at it, like back and forth, where it would have made sense, but I knew that would make him uncomfy, and I knew that I would not like that either, so we avoided it as much as possible.
That was the funny, like I know everyone is going to be critical and no one understands because they're not in the game. And just like you said, yes, had you guys went, then he could have went. That could have ruined your relationship with Monty. Well, no, it couldn't because he's the worst.
Logically, that would have been the best thing to do.
But
I'm telling you, in the house, the vibe, it's like, no, that unfortunately was off the table.
Yeah, it was. But it was just very funny. I know there are people that think that you didn't play off the vote well enough. I just thought the whole entire thing was funny. And then I guess for me in the house, but I'll never understand, like, I don't think any of us watching, even though we like to pretend that we do, those little intro, the little mannerisms and the way that you guys all can communicate and understand each other on a different level. Yeah. But for me, I was like, I feel like if I was in that house and I was Taylor, I would be like, Brittany, why are you not demanding a house meeting? So, like, it wasn't more of the how you acted or any of that. For me, it was just like, I would think if that really happened, I would expect you to be like, I want a house meeting, Turner, da-da-da-da-da. And, I mean, but again, I hope when we die that there is a heaven and I get to say, excuse me, God, I want to watch alternate realities of Big Brother seasons. I want to see what happens if Turner made this move. If Brittany, I want to see how it would have played out.
Right.
Because I think it would be so fun.
Weird, but at that point, it almost feels like, and this is the vibe I got, and in conversations I've had with Taylor, it kind of felt this way too, that it was like, okay, it's done. Let's just move forward. Like, you're so close to the end of the game that everyone kind of knew who they would take anyways. And even though our reads inside the house were so inaccurate, I would say in many ways, and that was kind of another reason too. Like, that's why I don't think people understand how close Taylor and I really, truly are, and why Taylor understood it when I told her that I was the one that flipped. because the read in the house, which I know everyone's got to set aside their own Twitter, whatever, the read in the house was that I could only have a potential shot of winning against Taylor, and Taylor could only have a potential shot of winning against me. I know that that was not reality, but that was the read in the house. And so it was almost to this point where we're both like, okay, so there was a split. Who did what? Does it really matter? We know who we're taking to the end anyways.
Right.
You just move forward from it. So I know that's hard to like grasp being on the outside and not feeling it, but that was kind of
and I mean it makes total common sense too. I know Janice in the YouTube chat says, besides Michael and Taylor, who else did you trust in the game?
Oh, I mean, in the game. That's a good question. I mean, of course, I think
that's a cute, Janice. Right? That's a good
it's
one.
So hard because it changed so much, right? Like I definitely like during the good month run of the leftovers where things were just going like that. I had a lot of trust in everyone in that alliance. And that's why I kind of just, it was unfortunate when sides of the alliance started kind of being created. In my mind, it was like, why are we picking sides? We're still all 7 together. Like there's kind of no reason to have to do that at that point in time. I would say definitely after Dire Fest and whatnot. What's funny with Joseph is, they were trying to get folks who came in from Dire Fest. They're really trying to paint him out that he threw us under the bus and he did this, he did that.
Yeah.
Because the lie that they end up going with, which was the reason why Taylor and I was put on the block, was that Joseph, me, and Taylor had a final 3. And because that had never actually solidified, like Taylor and I knew that that was not true, it called into question kind of everything that they were saying, like that happened in Dire Fest. Like I even remember talking to Taylor because Taylor and I had multiple final 3s. Like we'll own up to that, right? We're like, wait, did we get around to that one yet? I was like, I don't remember us solidifying a me, you, Joseph one. Am I just forgetting? She's like, oh, I wanted to ask you, did I forget? And we had this big laugh over it because it was like, oh no, I don't think we got around to that one yet, And because that wasn't true, it kind of called in to everything. And it was funny. I was talking to Joseph about this the other day. I was like, I know they were saying a bunch of stuff, but I never quite fully bought into it. But at that point in time, it was like, well, what can you do? He's gone. So, I mean, yeah, it was pretty much at the end of the day. I hate to say it, but it was Joseph because we were close since the very beginning. And then Michael Taylor. That's as far as kind of trust went for me.
I feel like a reason, to the point when you are saying like, oh, contrary to what Twitter thinks, I think it's so many things about the edit. And I know that the live feed watchers, know this, but I also think there are casual people that watch this show too. But like you said, so many things didn't make the edit. So we're watching you making that move against Taylor to vote her out. But like you say, only us live feed watchers got to watch you and Taylor laughing about it in the bedroom and her being totally fine with it. So I get why a casual viewer, is left feeling like, oh God, Brittany, why would Taylor want to be nice to you at all? I don't know.
Right.
It's just, I don't understand why they just can't take like the extra 5 seconds and finish these plot points.
I haven't seen those episodes yet since I'm still kind of starting from the beginning, but I'm curious, maybe you guys can fill me in. Do they show it like the strategic reasons behind it, or did it look like an emotional flip?
No, they showed strategic.
They did? Okay. I at least wanted it because I could sense in some conversations that it felt like it was being pushed towards like she hasn't been talking to me, boo-hoo, kind of like rationale.
I think the live feed people, I mean, that definitely was the thing that live feed watchers felt, that like you were more sensitive to Taylor pulling away than Taylor was. Now, don't kill me, everyone, just being on it. We all did it. Taylor could also do no wrong in this game. If Taylor could have came down, stabbed you in the arm, and like walked away, and people be like, Queen of Stabbing! Taylor, Queen of Stab. Like, we loved Taylor because of everything, obviously, as you know, that Taylor went through. So obviously, us as a whole fan base, we are in love with her and all of that. So yeah, I get why the majority of the voices were more, Brittany is overly sensitive about this pulling away, but obviously the pulling away was on both ends. She was more with Monty, which
For sure.
no one in the fan base wanted.
I did not know that, guys. I did not
Ugh.
know.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Well,
yeah.
let me just say this about that. Like, yes, did some of the pulling away, when you're in that house and there's just what at that point in time, 5 people. And, granted, I get that Michael was warning me, but like, could have used the heads up before the double eviction would have been nice. I knew when he left, I just felt completely alone. I'm like, it was a reset, And so you're just like, okay, I knew my only strategy was to win. I knew that I didn't have my number one person in the house anymore. I still had Taylor, which was really great, but also I can sense her pulling away, whereas she hadn't been pulling away before. So I thought maybe she changed her mind about me. Like all these things are going through your mind. And basically I was just like, okay, my only strategy is to win. The only thing I can bank on for sure is the rules of this game, which is I am safe if I win competitions. I don't have to trust anyone else. I don't have to bank on anyone else because I feel like everything just got flipped upside down. So that's ultimately at the end of the day, and I don't know if they show this or not, but that's ultimately at the end of the day was like, okay, I love Taylor to death. She's one of my best friends. But I need to win. And what the next HOH, it came down to a tiebreaker between Taylor and I. Like, you never say never, but if the plan had gone through, I might have made it to final 3, given if Alyssa was still there.
Yeah, that was such a nail. I mean, obviously we as the fandom wanted that because we wanted Monty gone. Or I mean, I don't mean to speak for, but I mean me for myself, I did not necessarily appreciate Monty's I don't like labeling people because I don't think it's but it's, let's say based in misogynistic
Did you guys
ways.
catch that 2.5-hour roasting conversation? Yeah. Oh my God, that was so painful.
No, you did very good handling that. I was getting like Kylan flashbacks. I was like, the fact that you have to sit there and just and we all get it, or I think most of us that are fans of the show get it. You have to sit there and just take his bullshit because that's the position that you're in. You can't tell him what you really think because you probably just want to be like, fuckface. We're playing a game and we all know what's happening.
I remember Taylor and I after that 2.5. It was just brutal, right? We go to the backyard and she just looks at me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Like neither of us knew that going up into that room would be, because I can't remember. Was that before? I think that was us trying to get Turner on the block. Yeah. Because I was really trying to advocate for this just does not make sense. Why, given that we have this final 3, Big Brochella, why would you risk Taylor? This just doesn't make sense. You must have a final 2 with Turner. Oh, God forbid. I think that I can't trust you. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh man.
That for me was the point where it becomes when you're that few people in the house, I don't understand why you're lying. We get why you were lying with the vote to Taylor. That makes sense. That's strategy. That's one moment. Him just being on his high horse and acting like he's not really with Turner. I think those are the things that players don't get. That's what repulses the fans. Be what are you lying for? There's 3 days left. She gonna find out.
Right? I found out.
Found out. What are you doing? Just be like, you got outplayed in this moment. This is what we're doing. It was just the way that he was always so I'm mad at you, and now I'm getting pissed off, Brittany. Oh my God, that's why I could never play Big Brother.
Part of my flip too, not the reason, right? But a side benefit of this is you're literally trying to handcuff me so that my vote this week doesn't matter at all. You're literally trying to create a situation where I have no power in this. You know what? At the very least, this either happens and then it increases my odds to win this next comp, or at the very least, you're gonna have to break a tie. Boo-hoo! You didn't get everything exactly how you wanted, Monty.
Yeah.
I was was just kind of like, fuck it at this point. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, oh, something didn't go according to plan, Turner Monty. Deal with it, you know?
Deal with it. They were going to have to deal with something. You got this question from a ton of people on Instagram. I'm going to take it from Poba86, who wants to know. So many people asked it in
And
so
Brittany,
many
I'm
different
being
ways.
quiet only because I'm having to get my administrative skills. There's so many questions in YouTube that I'm actually trying to copy. Eric and I are now sharing a document. So when I was looking down and saying, I don't know what to do, it's flooding. Here's a document. So
I was like, I got this, John. I got it.
You guys are good. I couldn't
so
even
that
tell
we
what was going
can
on.
make sure everybody watching is
It's the
happy,
fourth
being
wall.
heard, and all of that. So
okay,
No,
so
that's
this
so
is
good.
from a lot of people on Instagram. I do see that John, I guess from YouTube, just said Jessica was also asking it. How did you know about Turner's newspaper article?
Oh, I am sorry. I'm going to have to not answer that right now. Yeah, I know that's super disappointing, but
Well,
that
do you want to know what's
unfortunately is something I cannot answer at this present moment.
You want to know what's even more disappointing? I don't even know what it's about, but I guess now I have a guess that I can guess what it's about. I don't know how I missed the newspaper article comment, but I was like, why are there so many questions about a newspaper?
Maybe I'll share in a later
a little bit, maybe.
But
yeah, maybe we'll share in a little bit.
I can't right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problemo. Well, here's another very important question. Probably a hard... I'm going to ask you a hard question. Okay? Are you ready for a hard question?
Sure.
It's from Taylor Lauren515 on Instagram. And she says, excuse me, Brittany, but why are you such a queen? For real, for real.
Don't understand. Like, I literally... I don't know. It's just so funny to me. It's literally so funny to me that anybody, like, likes me, call me queen. Like, I don't know. I just wish you guys would know my normal life. Like, I am a homebody who, like, just watches Big Brother and, you know, I don't know, mows my lawn. Like, I'm just, it's funny. I don't know.
It is. Oh my God, Brittany. If you want to know the moment that, okay, now I feel like there are times that I have to come clean with the house guests.
Yeah.
We all know I may like to exaggerate, but I'm going to come clean now, and I will tell you the moment this season that you did that enraged me.
What?
So,
What'd I do, Eric?
As someone who built his own house, you had a conversation in the backyard. Ask John. I went on a 10-minute rant about this on the show.
Oh God,
I'm
my
watching
ears are going to
Brittany.
bleed again. My ears are going to bleed again.
I watched Brittany go like this. I built my house, and you were talking to Monty at the time, and he's like, oh my God, you built your house? And then you were like, yes, I built my whole house. I was there when the contractors walked through, and I told them what the kitchen was going to be. And I'm like, that's not building your house, Brittany! Putting the counters in yourself would be building the house, Brittany!
Did you, like, physically build your house?
Yes!
Like, wow,
yes.
That is so impressive.
Well,
yeah.
Well.
Well, okay, I had a little help, but I mean the majority, like we did the sheetrock, I did the floors, I tiled the bathrooms. I did, because I was like, ooh, Brittany and I are going to bond over this. I can't wait to talk about how we built our houses. And then you were like, oh, the contractor
did that.
Yeah.
It
was like 10
that's
years
really
ago.
Impressive. Yeah, for the record, did not physically build the house, but worked with very great professionals who have those skills.
Who had those skills?
The house that I'm living in. We wouldn't want to live in a house that I've tried to physically build myself. I'll just tell you that.
Hannah Mary says, what past Big Brother alliances have you looked up to?
Oh, gosh.
That's a good question.
Looked up to. I mean, that's so interesting. And I feel like my answers are probably so going to change now, having experienced the show now. You know, it's funny. I'm also kind of trying to like recalibrate just, how I feel about past Big Brother house guests. The more that I get to meet and talk to in real life now and everything, I would say any alliance. I don't have one like I can name just off the top of my head, but I would say any alliance that really maintains strong communication and trust with one another is an alliance that is so difficult. Like, I will say one of the things that, as I'm watching episodes, as I'm listening to live feed recaps, the amount of times, like, I'm even more proud of myself for getting to Final Four, given how much trouble I was in at various points of this game, that I had no clue I was in trouble. Like, no one told me. Michael didn't tell me. No one told me how much trouble I was in some parts of this game. And it's just so funny. And it's just so funny. You would think, I mean, maybe I should have just picked up on it. Like, I could tell, like, just kind of socially that'd be the case, but it also, you just don't know a lot of things. So I would say any alliance that, like, really communicates, fact checks things, like any alliance where someone can come up and say, hey, pretend I'm in the alliance. Hey, Brittany, so-and-so saying this, is this true? Or, hey, Brittany, sounds like so-and-so is going to target you. Like, you need to know. That just takes so much. You would think that'd just be easy, but that just takes so much. You are putting so much of yourself on the line when you have that conversation with somebody else and you're helping somebody else. That in an alliance can do that, kudos to you, because it's hard in this game.
It is. It is very hard. I saw, you making it all the way to the end of the game. A lot of people asked, I'm going to take it from Steve Junk on Instagram, if you had to tweak one thing about your game if you played it again, is there any one specific thing that you think you do differently?
Oh, for sure. I think I definitely would. What I would do would be, how do I phrase this? I think if I said something to someone, and perhaps it was negative, perhaps it was contradictory, whatever, messy queen, whatever, right? Said something to someone, I would go to the person that I said it about and say, hey, just want to give you a heads up. Taylor, I said this, I don't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Or Taylor's a bad example, but like anyone who I was working with, I would kind of gut check them and come back around to them and tell them. So I think there's a lot of times that I said things to people that I knew, like, oh, this isn't real, but just because I know it doesn't mean if it came back around to somebody else that they would recognize it. I know that was a huge element to Michael and I's strategy, or like my social strategy as a duo with Michael. And we had at least discussed that. And I wish I would have done that with more people. Michael and I's strategy was that I would plant those seeds with other folks in the house saying, I know one day he's going to have to go. It's going to be hard, but like, I'm on board for it. And then they would open up to me and they would tell me like, oh yeah, that is the plan, or no, it isn't. Like, that happened with Monty, that happened with Turner, so that we could really find out where their head was at. And I would always bring that information back to Michael. And I think that type of, like, Michael knew that I didn't mean that, so I could go talk and have those conversations. If I would have done that with other people, maybe rumors, because no one fact checks in this house, like, whatsoever. So maybe rumors and distrust wouldn't have built where there shouldn't have been, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I think that makes complete sense. I can take since you mentioned messy strategic queen, Big Brother fan says, hi, messy strategic queen Brittany. How did the jury come to the decision to vote Taylor as the winner? Was it a consensus before coming in, or did it happen at the end of the round table, would you say? Now, I'll just say that some people in their some of your castmates in their post-season interviews have said, jury decided they were voting for Taylor regardless, nothing about finale night mattered. What do you want to say about how the decision to vote for Taylor came about?
I completely agree with that. I mean, it was, you said around that round table, it literally got to the point, everyone, myself included, everyone was like, yes, Taylor, yes, Taylor, yes, Taylor. Yes. And they were like, okay, well, let's go around one by one and say a reason why Taylor shouldn't win, right? And so we all had to give a reason why she shouldn't win. I've heard they used my reason, of course, as the one, as one of the ones. No, it was a done deal. I even remember, like, I think there was like a commercial break or something, or not commercial break, but there was like an airplane flew over, so we had to like hold or something. And I even remember being like, "Oh, guys, Taylor's gonna be so excited. She has no clue that this is the temperature of this round table." Like, I remember it was surprising. It was exciting and surprising to me. I knew Taylor wouldn't know that how good she was sitting, because that was one of the things that her and I talked about. She was like, "Go rally the girls for me, like get me the girls." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I didn't need to do anything. Like, it was already set for her for sure.
Right. And I mean, of course it's surprising because of the way Indy and Jasmine treated her the whole time, but then yet once they were evicted, all of a sudden they had like personality transplants. It's almost as if they were told, "Hey, maybe you should back off Taylor."
Almost as if, right?
It's just so crazy. Lost and Confused over in the You Now chat says, as a late addition to The Leftovers, was there ever a point where you wanted to branch out to the other side of the house?
It's a really good question. No. I mean, the fact that I went into this game being like, I am not going to be in the majority alliance. Are you kidding me? And I mean, honestly, the only reason why I was in the majority alliance is because it was established of leftovers, people who didn't fit in. So I was like, okay, well, at least that checks out. Like, I really didn't ever cross my mind to kind of sort of branch out. The only other kind of relationship that I feel like I had more so on a personal level was like perhaps maybe with Alyssa. But I knew that even at that point in time, if Leftovers was going to stick together, she'd probably be the last to leave, but it wouldn't be anything that I could truly do to help her or save her. And I wouldn't have done it at the expense of the Leftovers. But no, I mean, it felt really good. I felt like I finally found my people and who I wanted to work with. And they were just kind of the personalities I got along with the best for the most part. So it just made sense to work with them.
Okay. I see Silver Web. Go ahead, John. You do it.
No, I was just going to read that because it's a cute one.
You do it.
Silver Web Server says, "You have an amazing smile," which you do, Brittany, actually. Would you have taken Taylor or Michael in Final Two?
That is such a good question.
I know. We get the good questions here.
You know what? That would have been so hard. Thank God that probably didn't happen or if I had anything to do with it, because that would have been, you want to see like a nervous breakdown on TV. That would have been mine. If it came down to that. I mean, Michael and I had just Taylor and I had been working since like day 2 together too. But Michael and I don't know. Michael and I guess, had just talked more strategy in game throughout the season. Yeah. So it felt like we were more working together throughout the season than Taylor and I, even though Taylor and I had been talking as well. On the flip side, I feel like I played this game most closely with Michael. So to go to the final 2, plus I'm a Big Brother super fan. I know this doesn't make sense. I know I would have for sure gotten second sitting next to Michael, but I just wanted a duo like us to make it to the end. I feel like you don't always see our kind of relationship make it to the end. And he's such a great player. I'm like fangirling as I'm playing with him. So it's like something about that kind of seemed very appealing, even though I know I'd get second. I also, and I know a lot of people don't understand this either, I kind of came into this house for a very specific reason, and second place would have fulfilled that reason anyway. So I was okay with that. On the flip side, though, and of course, I did not know the fan base Taylor had and everything like this outside the house. It felt that maybe perhaps I'd have a chance at winning if I took Taylor. So if I would have taken Taylor, there might have been more so a chance, and this is just the perception that you have in the house, but more so a chance of winning as opposed to taking Michael. So that would have been my thought process, thinking, oh, maybe it would have been, I mean, Taylor and I together would count out the votes, and we would always come to like a 5-4 or 4-5, like we both felt that it would be a toss-up between us two. And so there would have been an ability to, if I went to final 2 with her, that maybe I'd have perhaps more of a chance of winning than with Michael. I now realize I would have gotten second with both of them, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. But it would have been a beautiful thing to see us get to the final 3 together, just given how closely we played together this entire game. So I would have loved it either way.
I think all of us wanted both of you as women in the final two. I think we did not need or want to see Monty or Turner in that final two at all.
Yeah.
We were like,
that would have been.
we
And
wanted.
if I would have gotten the final two, like, and had that decision, like Taylor all the way for sure. I was not taking Monty. I was not taking Turner. Although it's funny to think now what the temperature was at the round table. I think the only way I would have had maybe even a remote chance of winning would have been if I would have taken Turner, but that just wouldn't have crossed my mind at all. It was Taylor for sure.
How do you feel the round table was towards Turner? Do you think that, they would have given him a vote in any scenario or no?
As pro Taylor as the round table was, Turner was the exact opposite. I don't think he could have sat next to anybody. Like, they made us go around and say a reason why he should have won, just like they made us say a reason why Taylor shouldn't have won. It was the exact opposite, for Turner.
I mean, bless his heart, it's Final Four or five or whatever. But I mean, he used it at Final Three. He used it 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
He used it on Brittany when he was like, I'd be bamboozled if you didn't do it. Okay, I'm done. And I'm just like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm like,
everyone.
Oh, wow.
I think he just, and I remember him and I talking, that conversation got blown out of proportion, by the way, but I remember him and I talking and joking just about like the shit jury management we both had. I at least was aware of it. He just didn't understand how much he did not have votes, which, hey, I get it. In this game, there's so much going on. There are multiple times where I was like, you know what? Let's deal with that problem later. Let's see if we get there. But if I ever got the chance to play Big Brother again, I would definitely realize, especially once it comes jury time, that you have to start thinking a little bit more long term. Like, you can't just put off a problem for next week, because all those problems eventually catch up with you. And I definitely don't think Turner did that. I know I didn't do it in a lot of instances, and I don't think he did it either.
What I think you did well, but then again, I don't think anybody really did that great. And again, very easy for us to say sitting here watching. I don't feel like this season anybody wound up their little soldiers to go to jury for them. It was like week after week, even you guys being in the dominant, powerful alliance, nobody was really like, you knew who was going. I thought there would have been more of a, can you advocate for me in jury? Here are the moves that I made. It never seemed like anybody sent anyone into that jury to fight for them, which is why on that double, I was like, look, if Brittany goes, this could be good for Michael. She could really fight for him. If Michael goes, I'm hoping he's going to put those lawyer skills to work. And, he's going to be Brittany's lawyer. He's going to be Taylor's lawyer.
He's like, I was ready at that round table. If you weren't showing up, he's like, I had my points for you, Brittany. Because he was really the only one who knew my game and the strategy behind it. And I think I'm realizing now I hid that too much from everyone else. Like, I should have, even to Monty, I kept on lying to protect Michael and I's game, even after Michael was out of the house. And it was like, oh, Brittany, like, no, this is the time, looking back on it, it's like, this is the time you need to have said, yeah, I lied in those instances. Here's why. This was part of my strategy. Like, I was, I played more of this social component for Michael and I, like, it's just so funny, the things that you get so used to holding them close to your vest. But at some point in time, it's like, you need people to know, otherwise you don't get credit for them. So I agree with you, Eric. I feel like one regret I have is like Big Burchella. Jasmine was going. She couldn't have even talked to anybody else. Taylor, me, and Michael talked to her in the bubble room. Why didn't we just tell her about the leftovers right then? That wouldn't have hurt anything. She couldn't have ran and tell anybody. You just almost get so caught up in like, oh, no one can know about the leftovers. No one can know about the leftovers. We felt that way for over a month now, that you're like, we seriously should have just told her so that she understood. And I'm like, oh, why didn't we do that? I don't know why,
You were probably didn't know what, like, I would think if I was in your situation, I would not know. They can throw a twist in at any second. I kept saying, I don't understand why the person who left each place, I thought they should have been able to leave a message for the other people in the other.
We would get to.
Yeah, I think that is what should have happened. Just to be fair, it didn't. There was no payoff to the you guys didn't get to see each other. You didn't get to say goodbye to Joseph. It's like people like closure. I don't like that ending.
That was really tough. Just mentally not getting to say goodbye. Yeah, or just even say something, you know. But I do think the only time that I kind of was, again, another pro of that, if this plan wouldn't work with, flipping the vote on Alyssa Taylor, was like, okay, I'm giving it like a 20% chance that this will go through. That means 80% chance Alyssa's leaving. Hopefully I've gained a little bit of her trust. She'll know I'm the only one who tried to save her Big Brother game. Maybe she'd be advocating for me in jury. That was literally the only time that I was like, because I think too, and I know this is silly because it's a game, but something about it was like, oh, I don't want to talk to somebody and be like, I'm so confident you're leaving. Hopefully you can advocate for me in jury. Like that would rub me the wrong way if somebody tried to like do that to me, like count me out so quickly. And just using me as a jury advocate, that I didn't want to do that to somebody else. I know it seems weird, but that was kind of my rationale with that too.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. I know you wanted to ask her.
No, I wasn't sure if this one asked. That's why I highlighted it.
Gotcha.
I was too busy, doing my
secretarial
skills, reality recaps that I wasn't sure, but I do want to know the answer to this. So Brisma in the YouTube chat says, what was Brittany shocked to learn about in the real world when you left? What was anything that you were shocked?
I mean,
had the queen died yet? No,
the queen died while we were in the house, and I would say that was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The queen dying. I think I don't know if this was the thing. It's just so crazy. You're like talking to some people, and they're just like I don't know how big of a thing was, but there's something about monkeypox or something. Is that a thing?
Yes.
Well, the gays have it. You're okay.
Okay,
it's a gay thing. Only the gays are getting it right now.
Still, that's so scary. Like
sex.
Yeah.
No, but that's
in the behind that you should have your monkeypox.
Yeah, you're okay. I don't think you're gonna get it. You're good.
I know. I'd be okay, but still, anyone else?
Anyone with a butt could get it if they're not safe.
Right. They should call it butt pox.
This or as a thing is very alarming to hear once you get out of the house, right?
They should call it butt pox.
They should call it butt pox. I have to say this to you too, Brittany, because, I know that people are always going to be critical when there is a player, going all the way back to Derek with, you're taking food out of my daughter's mouth. And whenever anybody brings up their personal reasons or financial, so I know that everyone's always going to be critical about any player that brings it into the game. However, like you said, we, knew your reason for, wanting to win the money. I'm sure that you know this, but I just have a horrible memory, so I want to make sure that I tell you in case you don't. I think you're going to have no problem with you just need the Instagram post. I mean, they're giving the Big Brother people anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 an Instagram post, and you're top 4, right? You got this. You just got to reach out to the baby, the fertility place, the da-da-da-da-da-da. You are golden. You're going to have that $40K by Christmas. Trust me. The people that aren't liked, the house guests that aren't liked get to do Instagram posts for that much. You got this.
Oh, well, thank you. That means...
I would like the baby named after us.
Thank you. That means a lot, actually. I don't know. I know I probably got flack for that, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard.
Everyone gets flack for everything. It's Big Brother. If you breathed, we hated it.
Right.
I want to ask 2 more questions, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll go over. What do you think is your most memorable moment in the house, or what was your biggest accomplishment in the house? A lot of people were asking.
Interesting. My most memorable moment, biggest accomplishment. I think It felt really nice to win that snooze fest veto, to just know that I was going to be the one going home. And like, wouldn't you know it? I won this. I won it by myself. I know I get a lot of flack from Brit Flea, whatever, being carried, this or that. I know a lot of people don't understand that so many of those vetoes and so much of my mentality through this game was working alongside Michael. Like even Otev, I got out the first round. They didn't show that I got my knee gash and I had to get 6 stitches. And even throughout that, I was putting answers on the side so Michael could grab them easier in his subsequent rounds, which he'll be the first to admit helped him a lot win that veto. Like I was always kind of approaching it, for better or for worse, as kind of a team mentality when it came to me and Michael winning things. Woodstack, we both worked on that together. Just a lot of things that we did. So to win something purely on my own, where I didn't have to think in a team mentality, felt really nice.
No, and you lasted longer in the game than he did. So.
You know, I lasted 2 weeks, which, hey, you know, you gotta, that's something. That's something.
I have to say, yes, we knew everything that you did. I'll tell you a behind the scenes for the live feed watchers, because again, a lot of people weren't the biggest Jasmine fans. So we knew all about how she didn't care about your leg being cut and wanted you to. So like when we're watching it all, like, on the show, we're all like, oh my God, okay, so Brittany's sitting down. Oh my God, yeah, look at Jasmine is not moving for her. Wow, this is going. And we knew about you making the pile. Like we knew all of it from that. And yeah, I think a lot of people will never understand the dynamic that, goes into a partnership when you're playing the game as a team. I think they should have done Festy Besties right from the beginning, personally. I don't think they should have did the whole backstage thing. I think it should have started as Festy Besties would have made more sense to me than how they did it.
It's so interesting. And I mean, and it's just funny that, anybody who wins Festy Bestie, like that was the twist, is that you're Festy Bestie with somebody and then you're saved or you have to go on the block. So I don't know. I think it's just funny. I do not regret. I love getting to work with the people that I got to work with in this show. Like I would do it no other way. I feel like it is an individual game, but at the same time, you need to work with other people. And that's how I felt. I felt like I got to work with the people I wanted to work with. And then I quickly had to figure out, how do you do this when you're all alone? And, it was nice to at least to get to survive 2 more weeks once that was the case.
Well, I love it. I want to take a last question from our town. We always ask it to everyone. And he says, is there something that you learned about yourself coming out of this Big Brother experience that you didn't know about yourself before you started it?
Oh my gosh, so much. So much. It's just astounding. First of all, I guess I would say normal life, not really that stressful, really actually awesome. 10 out of 10, love normal life. Like my poor husband, he was like, I love watching you. He's like, but it broke my heart. All that I saw you was just super stressed out Brittany. Like, he's like, I never really felt like I saw you, like, for who I know you are. Like, and then, and I'm watching back the episodes too. And I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, that's me just super stressed out. Like and he's like, once the leftovers started to kind of take over, like your real personality kind of started to come out once you felt safe. But, normal life is easy. I would also say being yourself is just so important. Like I thought it'd be so easy to just come in here and be like, I'm going to hide that I'm a hypnotherapist and I'll just act like I'm this or that. And that was so incredibly difficult considering that it's just so much a part of who I am. And then the week 1 sort of mental health stuff that was going on with Paloma, it just felt like something that it's like, okay, even if I can't share with the rest of the house, I know I share with Michael, but like, even though I can't share with the rest of the house what I do, it is such a mental battlefield in that house that if I can just have these like group guided meditation sessions, if I can just do anything, even though it won't help my game, I literally was helping them get in the zone mentally before the next HOH comp. Like this was not not beneficial to me whatsoever. But if it could just kind of like cool the atmosphere and help us just remember why we're here and like just take care of ourselves mentally, like we take care of ourselves physically, that was really important for me to do. So I think just learning to just like be real to yourself is so important, because it was so hard not being able to share my full self with everybody in the house.
I love that. Well, speaking of sharing, yourself with people, let's start with, where do you want people to follow you on social media?
Yes, follow me. God, I don't even remember my stuff. Instagram is mainly where I hang out. So Britt.hoops. That's HOOPES. That's where you'll probably find me. I do have Twitter too, but I'm telling you the truth. I'm trying to steer clear of Twitter as much as I can. It's mainly Instagram. So I would say follow me there.
I will put the links below. But what about, are you going to accept fans that want to reach out to you and use your services? Whether it be how do you want people to go about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I am a clinical hypnotist. I'm a hypnotherapist. So I am definitely getting back in the groove of things and opening up my virtual sessions again. So I've always been virtual. I have clients around the world. So I'll be opening up those slots. And yeah, I mean, if you want to be a client, I would love to have you.
Can you have your first fan slot open to Eric so that he can relax?
I don't want to insult
be a
Brittany.
Little nicer?
I don't need to be nicer. You know what? I'm going to save it for the patron show. I'm going to tell you my experience with hypnosis.
Oh, I want to hear that.
And I would like to know your thought, and then we have other stuff. But okay, so we will put the links to Brittany's social media, how you can reach out to Brittany in the notes of the show, wherever you guys are watching after it is up and everywhere later. All that information will be in there. We thank you so much for taking time and coming to hang out with your fans.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Really loved it. It was a lot of fun. And we will see you guys soon. No, I will say, Michael texted me while we were live and said that he is ready to come on in the next day or so. So Michael will be the next show. So again, make sure that you guys are
me during this too.
Oh, well, yay, Michael! You should have been watching. Maybe he is.
Right?
He did say huge fan, so maybe he is watching. Make sure that you guys, like we say, follow, like, and subscribe. Brittany, ourselves, so you're alerted every time we go live. Of course, we're going to have all of your the jurors on the next week or so, and then John and I are continuing to do shows. You guys know the deal. We're not going anywhere, so make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. You can check out the past 10 years of the shows over on our website as well. John, any final thoughts?
No, this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to jump in the patron group. Let's do it.
Alrighty then.
Can
we'll
I say something really quick?
Yes, you can say whatever you want.
He said they didn't ask you my question. Why didn't you like the alliance name Smelly Salad?
Well, we're going to yell at Michael when he comes on, because I'd like to know why he pretends like cats are a real animal that anyone should own.
I love cats.
Hi, I didn't know you're watching. Hello.
I'm convinced that they just suck at your soul while you sleep and claw at your face. Do you know about dogs?
I forgot about that whole Smelly Salad thing. That is hilarious. I literally forgot about that. That made me laugh till I had tears in my eyes for like several days.
Well, we're going to go talk about Michael in the patron group, and nobody can hear unless they're in there. Bye for now, everybody. Bye, friends.